Welcome back to History Unraveled, where we dive deep into the stories that shaped our world. Today, we're setting sail on an epic journey, from pirates to patriots, England's naval awakening. Picture this, a tiny island nation, squeezed between raging Atlantic storms and scheming European giants, punches way above its weight to become the ruler of the waves. From the cutthroat privateers of Queen Elizabeth's court to the nuclear submarines prowling today's oceans, the Royal Navy's story is one of grit, innovation, and sheer audacity. Why does this matter? Because in an era of cyber threats and carrier strike groups, understanding Britain's naval legacy explains everything from global trade routes to why fish and chips conquered the world. We'll cover it all: England's rocky start as a maritime minnow, the cutthroat pressures that forced it seaward, the legendary sea dogs who blurred the line between hero and highwayman, and the Navy's evolution through wars, tech revolutions, and modern challenges, right up to 2025's hybrid fleet dreams. Grab your bicorn hat, like and subscribe for more deep dives, and hit that bell. We're weighing anchor now. Let's go! Let's start at the beginning, or close to it. In the late 15th century, England was no naval superpower. It was a patchwork of feuding barons, fresh off the bloody Wars of the Roses that left the treasury emptier than a pirate's promise. Geographically, a rainy cluster of islands off Europe's northwest fringe, perfect for wool farming but lousy for empire building. While Portugal and the recently dynastically united kingdoms of Castile and Aragon, through the 1469 marriage of Ferdinand and Isabella, though full political unification was gradual and only legally solidified in the 18th century, were already slicing up the globe with treaties like Tordesillas in 1494, divvying Africa and the Americas. England was fishing cod in the North Sea and occasionally nipping at French coasters. Enter Henry VII, the penny-pinching Tudor who kicked things off in 1485. He sponsored John Cabot's 1497 voyage to Newfoundland, more probe than plunder, but it was his son, Henry VIII, who lit the fuse. In 1546, he founded the Navy Royal, England's first permanent fleet, with dockyards at Portsmouth and purpose-built warships like the Mary Rose, which sank spectacularly in 1545 during a scrap with the French, just a year before Henry formally established the Navy Royal. Why the urgency? Geopolitics. France loomed across the Channel, Scotland nipped at the heels, and the Reformation was turning old Catholic allies like Spain into frosty rivals. Economically, England was agrarian, think sheep, not spices. Population boom strained resources, enclosures displaced peasants, and inflation from Spanish silver imports hit hard. The Navy Royal was tiny, maybe 50 ships by mid-century, mostly converted merchants. It defended the Channel but dreamed bigger. As one chronicler put it, England was a minor player on the world stage, outgunned by Iberian armadas hauling Aztec gold. No wonder early efforts fizzled: raids on Scotland in 1544, alliances with Habsburgs that soured fast. But seeds were sown. The Navy's birth marked a shift, from ad hoc levies to state-sponsored sea power. It was defensive, insular, protecting wool fleets to Antwerp. Yet whispers of New World riches echoed in taverns. England, the underdog island, was stirring. By Elizabeth I's accession in 1558, the stage was set for awakening. Fast forward to the 1560s, Elizabeth's England is a powder keg. Economically, it's crunch time. Population hits 3 million, food shortages bite, and enclosures flood cities with jobless hordes. Spanish silver floods Europe, spiking prices. England's wool trade slumps as Antwerp markets choke. The lure? Those Spanish galleons groaning with Peruvian silver, worth billions today, funding Philip II Catholic crusade over his vast Habsburg Empire, an empire on which the sun never set, a phrase first used to describe the Spanish Habsburgs though later immortalized with Britain. Geopolitically? Existential dread. Philip, Elizabeth's ex-brother-in-law and son of Charles V, who ruled as Charles I of Spain and Charles V of the Holy Roman Empire, eyes reconquest after her mom's messy divorce. The 1568 seizure of John Hawkins' ship Jesus of Lubeck in the Caribbean? That's the spark. The English merchants howl at Spanish trade monopolies, from the Indies to the Azores. Elizabeth's excommunication in 1570 paints a target, Catholic plots like Babington simmer. Meanwhile, Dutch rebels beg for aid against Spanish butchers in the Netherlands. England funnels cash and guns, drawing Philip's ire. The Shadow War erupts. English privateers harry treasure fleets, probing weaknesses. Broader Europe boils. French religious wars, Ottoman sieges, leaving England isolated. Invasion whispers grow. Only the sea offers escape. As historian Nam Roger notes, to survive, England had to look seaward. Trade, not just defense, became key. Muscovy Company to Russia, 1555, Levant to Ottoman silk. But Spain blocks the Atlantic. Enter the privateers. By 1585, open war, Anglo-Spanish conflict till 1604. Elizabeth plays coy, issuing letters of marque, legal pirate licenses. Economics fused with survival, plunder funds the crown, weakens Madrid. Geopolitics? Secure routes to colonies, back Dutch freedom. The pressure cooker bursts in 1588, the Spanish Armada, 130 ships strong, sails to crush the heretics. The stars of our show, the Sea Dogs. Coined by furious Spaniards as Perros del Mar, sea hounds, these weren't cartoon pirates but knighted adventurers. Sanctioned brigands, they turned desperation into destiny. Leading the pack, Sir Francis Drake, the Devon farm boy turned global scourge. Drake's 1577-80 circumnavigation? Part Magellan, part heist. He sacks Spanish ports from Valparaiso to Panama, nabs £500,000 in loot, and in 1581 Elizabeth herself boarded the Golden Hind to knight him, giving royal endorsement in style. Then Sir John Hawkins, the grim slaver who pioneered the triangular trade but also drilled the navy in gunnery, clashing at San Juan de Ulua in 1568. Sir Walter Raleigh dreams big, Virginian colonies, potatoes, tobacco, and that golden toilet paper roll he dangled before Liz. Martin Frobisher hunts Northwest Passages, hauls fake gold from Baffin Island. Humphrey Gilbert claims Newfoundland in 1583. These dogs blurred lines. Privateer? Royal warrant to raid foes. Explorer? Charting for crown and coin. Pirate? When convenient. Drake torched Nombre de Dios in 1572, no questions asked. Their heyday? 1560 to 1605, raids net millions, fund anti-Armada defenses. The 1588 showdown, Armada's 30,000 tons versus England's nimble 200-ship swarm. Fire ships, gales, Drake's vice-admiralty, Spain loses half its fleet, 15,000 dead. England awakens, navy swells to 200 vessels, Chatham dockyard hums. Sea dogs forge identity, plunder as patriotism. As one ballad sang, they singed the King of Spain's beard. Legacy? From rogue waves to ruled seas. Post-Elizabeth, the navy matures. James I's 1603 accession brought England and Scotland under one crown, though their fleets remained distinct until after 1707. Civil War sees Parliament's Iron Admiral Robert Blake smash royalists at Portland. The Commonwealth Navy under Blake dominated seas. In 1655, a joint expedition seized Jamaica, launching Britain's sugar empire. Restoration in 1660 crowns it royal, prefixes HMS, think victory later. Anglo-Dutch wars pit trade titans, Blake's 4 days battle bloodies de Ruyter. The 1707 Union Jack flies over a unified British Navy. The 18th century booms. The War of Spanish Succession nabs Gibraltar, an eternal Mediterranean base. The 7 Years' War dooms French invasion plans, Wolfe takes Quebec. Economics drive it, Industrial Revolution demands Baltic timber, Canadian masts. Colonies from Bengal to Boston need guarding. Ship types evolve, 74-gun ships of the line, speedy frigates. Tactics refine, blockades starve foes. By the 1770s, the Navy peaks at 270 ships, but the American Revolution stings. Cornwallis is trapped at Yorktown by French fleet aid. Lesson? Amphibious ops are key. The French Revolution unleashed chaos, and Napoleon eyed a Channel invasion. Enter Horatio Nelson, one-eyed, one-armed, and utterly fearless. At the Battle of the Nile in 1798, he trapped the French fleet in Egypt, cutting Napoleon's supply lines. In 1801, at Copenhagen, Nelson neutralized the Danish fleet, showcasing his daring and tactical brilliance. But it was Trafalgar in 1805 that sealed his legend. 27 British ships faced 33 Franco-Spanish vessels. Nelson's innovative break-the-line tactic shattered the enemy fleet. Britain lost its hero. Nelson was mortally wounded, but gained unmatched naval supremacy. His final signal, "England expects that every man will do his duty," etched itself into national memory. From then, British blockades choked Napoleon's empire. The navies might ensure the safety of Britain's shores and global trade routes. This supremacy ushered in the Pax Britannica, an era in which the Royal Navy enforced peace across the seas, from patrolling colonies to crushing the Atlantic slave trade with the West Africa Squadron, freeing over 150,000 enslaved people. At its peak, the Navy boasted around 800 ships and 140,000 sailors. But hubris showed cracks. During the War of 1812, American frigates like USS Constitution humbled proud British vessels. Still, Nelson's legacy and Trafalgar's thunder cemented the Navy as the heart of Britain's empire and the benchmark of global naval power for generations to come. The 19th century brought revolutions in power and design. Steam screws replaced sails, giving ships independence from the wind. The HMS Agamemnon in 1852 showcased steam power, while ironclads like HMS Warrior in 1860 introduced armored hulls that no conventional cannon could easily pierce. Though the Pax Britannica kept major wars at bay, rival nations watched closely. Naval arms races loomed as Britain's empire stretched to every corner of the globe. Admiral Sir John "Jackie" Fisher transformed the Navy in the early 20th century. His masterpiece, HMS Dreadnought in 1906, rendered every other battleship obsolete overnight. Wool-fueled engines and all big gun designs set the pace for modern naval warfare. The Navy remained the empire's iron fist, enforcing blockades, policing colonies, and projecting power. In Africa, gunboats shelled Zanzibar into submission in the world's shortest war in 1896, lasting just 38 to 45 minutes depending on the source. The seas belonged to Britain, but challenges were circling. The scramble for Africa and the rise of Germany's navy foreshadowed storm clouds ahead. World War I tested the Royal Navy like never before. At the Battle of Jutland in 1916, 250 ships clashed in the North Sea. Though the battle was tactically inconclusive, the German High Seas Fleet never again challenged Britain directly. Convoy systems eventually neutralized the U-boat threat, securing critical supply lines. Between the wars, naval treaties limited battleship construction, but the Navy innovated with aircraft carriers such as HMS Hermes, pioneering the future of naval aviation. World War II brought even fiercer trials. In 1940, the Navy lost Norway but rescued 338,000 troops from Dunkirk using a fleet of little ships. The Battle of the Atlantic raged as German U-boats sank 3,500 merchant ships. Yet technology, radar, sonar, and depth charges turned the tide. Arctic convoys braved frozen seas to supply the Soviet Union. At Taranto in November 1940, British aircraft carriers launched a daring raid that inspired Japan's attack on Pearl Harbor. The Navy endured severe losses, including the sinking of HMS Prince of Wales and HMS Repulse in December 1941, but victories followed. In 1944, Operation Neptune, the naval arm of D-Day, mobilized nearly 7,000 vessels to land Allied forces in Normandy. The Royal Navy's power was central to the final victory in Europe. By war's end, Britain emerged battered but victorious. The Navy remained formidable, but American aircraft carriers and Soviet submarines signaled a new global naval balance. During the Cold War, the Royal Navy adapted again. Nuclear submarines like HMS Vanguard carried Trident missiles, ensuring Britain's place among nuclear powers. But the empire was fading. The 1956 Suez Crisis revealed the limits of Britain's global reach, while the US and USSR dominated geopolitics. Yet the Navy still proved its worth. In 1982, Argentina invaded the Falklands. Britain dispatched a task force 8,000 miles south. The conflict was brutal. HMS Sheffield was sunk by an Exocet missile, the Argentine cruiser General Belgrano torpedoed. Yet within 74 days, the islands were retaken, restoring British naval pride. In the 1990s and 2000s, the Navy served in the Gulf Wars, humanitarian missions, and anti-piracy patrols off Somalia. Resources were stretched thin. Today, in 2025, the Royal Navy fields about 30,000 active personnel, with 19 destroyers and frigates, 2 Queen Elizabeth-class aircraft carriers, and Astute-class submarines patrolling the oceans. Challenges loom: understrength crews, budget constraints, and rising rivals like Russia and China. Yet innovation continues. Plans for a hybrid navy envision fleets blending crewed ships with autonomous drones and AI-powered systems. Partnerships with allies keep Britain central to NATO's maritime strategy. From the sea dogs of Elizabeth I to digital age warships, the Royal Navy endures, still vital, still evolving. What a voyage! From Elizabeth's sea dog singeing Spanish beards to the hybrid fleets of 2025, Britain's Navy transformed island isolation into an oceanic empire, and continues to adapt. Its story is one of survival, ambition, and reinvention, born from economic pressures, tested by geopolitics, and reshaped by technology. Its legacy is vast, securing free seas, fueling global trade, and shaping the path of empire. It is also a tale of resilience, of a small island nation that learned to master the waves and never let go. If this stirred your salty soul, smash like, comment your favorite naval hero, and subscribe for more. Next time, maybe Viking sagas or samurai fleets, drop your ideas below. Fair winds, and I'll see you on the next tide.